The silence at our Christmas dinner table hung like a noose, tightening around my throat until I could barely draw breath. I sat there, rigid in my chair, my left arm pulsing with pain where John's fingers had clamped down like a vice, leaving deep red welts that were already purpling against my fair skin, marks that screamed what words couldn't. His mother, Margaret, froze with her fork suspended midair, her lips parted in stunned disbelief. His brother, Michael, the cop, had turned to stone, his sharp eyes locked on the bruises blooming like dark secrets. Sarah, Michael's wife and a nurse, was already shifting in her seat, her training urging her to act. Even Lisa, John's wild younger sister, had paused with food halfway chewed, her usual smirk wiped clean by shock. But it was my 8-year-old son, Ethan, who shattered that suffocating quiet. He rose slowly, his tiny fists wide-knuckled around his tablet, those big brown eyes so much like mine, meeting his father's gaze with a defiance that seemed too heavy for his small shoulders. I recorded it all. Dad, Ethan said, his voice cutting through the room like a knife. Steady and unflinching. Those words struck John like a thunderclap, his face drained of color, turning ashen as if he'd been gut-punched. His hand, still flat on the table, trembled visibly. The man who'd just crushed my spirit and my arm in front of his whole family now looked like a cornered animal, fear flickering in his eyes where control had always reigned. What? What do you mean? John stammered, his whisper barely escaping his lips. Ethan lifted the tablet higher, its screen casting a soft, eerie glow in the dimly lit dining room. I mean everything. Not just tonight. All of it. But to understand how we got here. To this moment where a child's gadget became the weapon that unraveled a decade of hidden hell. I have to take you back to the start of this so-called perfect family Christmas, just a few hours earlier, when the facade was still holding, brittle as thin ice. I'd been up since dawn, my gut churning like a storm about to break, as I buzzed around our spotless kitchen in our quiet suburban neighborhood outside Chicago. Every detail had to be flawless, the ham glazed just right, the silverware aligned like soldiers, my makeup hiding the shadows under my eyes. John's family demanded perfection, and he demanded I deliver it or else. Don't screw up the stuffing this time, he'd barked while nodding his tie in the hall mirror. Mom bitched about it being too bland last year. You remember that, right? Oh, I remembered. Every nitpick, every sigh of disappointment, every way I'd fallen short in the 10 years we'd been married, it all stuck like thorns. I added more herbs. Like you suggested, I murmured, smoothing my red sweater dress for what felt like the 100th time. I'd picked red because John once said it made me look festive. But now I second-guessed it, too flashy. Maybe drawing too much attention. Good. And keep Ethan off that damn tablet during dinner. I don't want Mom thinking we're raising a screen zombie. I nodded, though Ethan was the model kid. Quiet and self-contained, burying himself in books or apps to stay invisible. The real storm was always John. But I pushed that thought down, deep where it festered. Emily, John's voice snapped like a whip, making me flinch. The doorbell, they're here. I plastered on a smile and swung open the door to Margaret sweeping in like she owned the place, her critical eyes scanning for flaws. John's mom was a tall, wiry woman in her 60s, retired from teaching but still grading everyone around her. The porch lights are flickering, look sloppy, she declared without a hello. I'll get John to fix it, I said quickly, my pulse already racing. Michael and Sarah pulled up next in their SUV, followed by Lisa, who wobbled a bit on the icy steps, reeking of bourbon. John's jaw clenched at his sister's state. But he held his tongue. The family motto was keep it together, even when it was crumbling. As we all filed into the dining room, I spotted Ethan peeking from the hall, tablet tucked under his arm like a security blanket. He'd been glued to it lately, babbling about some secret project for school. Little did I know that project was about to expose the rot we'd all ignored. The meal was set to begin. And with it, the unraveling of lies that had bound us for years. I met John at a coffee shop near my old job as a receptionist in a downtown law firm. I was 25, fresh out of community college. And he sauntered in like he owned the city, sharp suit, confident grin, ordering a latte while chatting me up about real estate deals. "You've got eyes that light up a room," he said. And I melted, feeling seen for the first time. For months, he was Prince Charming, weekend getaways to the lake, surprise picnics, whispers that I was the one who'd finally get him. "You're so calm and supportive, Emily," he'd say, nuzzling my neck. "Not like those high-maintenance types I've dated. You know how to make a man feel like a king." It sounded romantic then, like I was his perfect fit. But the first red flag waved when I met his family at a Sunday brunch in their old Victorian home. "So, you're a receptionist," Margaret sniffed, making it sound like a dead-end gig. "Emily's great at organizing, keeps things running smooth," John jumped in. But his tone already hinted at apology. Michael nodded politely. Sarah shot me knowing glances. And Lisa, then just 18, smirked through her hangover. "They'll warm up," John promised later. "We're tight-knit, protective." After the wedding, the changes crept in slow, like poison in your coffee. John started suggesting tweaks, that skirt's a bit short for dinner with clients. "Babe, don't want them getting the wrong idea." Or, "Tone down the laugh, it's cute, but kinda loud in public." Then, "Why keep that job? I pull in enough as a property manager. Focus on us. On making home our haven." It felt like care at first. He wanted the best for me. So I quit. Traded pantsuits for aprons. Learned to fade into the background. When Ethan arrived, I hoped it'd soften John. But nope. Kid needs structure from day one, no coddling his cries. Ethan grew quiet like me, tiptoeing around his dad's moods. Ethan was a whiz kid, reading chapter books at 4, tinkering with gadgets by 6. When John got him a tablet for his birthday, Ethan dove in. "I'm making videos." "Mom," I'd smile, distracted, not probing what videos meant. Meanwhile, John's grip tightened, literally. Frustrations turned to squeezes that left fingerprints, hidden under sleeves. "It's not abuse," I'd tell myself. "Just stress from work. Marriages have rough patches." But the bruises whispered otherwise. And the silence? It was my cage. Christmas morning hit like a freight train. John's alarm blared at 5 a.m. But I was already wide-eyed, mentally ticking boxes. Ham in by 7. Table pristine by 8. Me presentable by 9 for the family's arrival. "No screw-ups today, Emily," he growled, stretching. Mom's still harping on last year's lumpy gravy. Last year's disaster was minor, but I'd groveled for it. I slipped downstairs, envy stabbing as Ethan slept soundly. The ham roasted on cue. I buffed the heirloom china Margaret had gifted us, every piece spotless or else. At 9 sharp, the doorbell chimed. Margaret barreled in, her wool coat shedding snow, eyes darting. "That wreath's off-center, looks half-assed." "On it," I mumbled, adjusting while she huffed. "And what's that herb smell?" "I prefer classic pine for the holidays." "Thought rosemeried pair with the ham," I offered weakly. Her lips thinned. "Too late now." John swooped in. "Charming, Mom. You glow like always." But his glance at me screamed warning. I was already on thin ice. Michael and Sarah arrived, him looking beat from night shifts, her handing over a pie with a warm smile. "You look great, Emily, that red's stunning." Margaret overheard, Red's bold for Christmas. I favor neutrals. My cheeks flamed. Lisa staggered and laughed. Breath boozy. Merry friggin' Christmas. John's fists balled. But he bit back. Lisa. Tone it down. Margaret exploded. You're a mess. Showing up sloshed to family time? Lisa flopped on the couch. Like this family's picture perfect. Gimme a break. Tension coiled like a spring. Ethan appeared then. Tablet in hand. Dressed neat as a pin. Hi. Grandma. Hi. Uncle Mike. Aunt Sarah. Aunt Lisa. Margaret softened a tad. You've shot up. Kiddo. But Ethan clung to his device. What's on there? Michael asked casually. Games and stuff, Ethan muttered, glancing at John warily. Family videos. I should have dug deeper. But the oven timer buzzed. Margaret nitpicked the cheese board. And survival mode kicked in. Time to eat. I chirped, voice cracking as we settled at the table. It gleamed, candles flickering, china shining, but I felt like prey in a den. Margaret claimed the head spot beside John. The ham passed muster at first, but a touch overdone, she decreed. My hands shook carving. Potatoes are over-seasoned, came next. John tensed. Emily slaved over this. Mom. But his edge cut me deeper, he was ashamed. Lisa. Tipsy. Piled on. Remember when Emily scorched the rolls? Smoke everywhere. Sarah snapped. Enough. Appreciate the work. Margaret iced over. Work? I raised 4 kids. Cooked from scratch. Never served slop. It's competence. Not effort. Silence dropped like a bomb. I stared at my plate. Tears pricking. John stayed mute, always did when she tore into me. Talk about something else? Michael suggested. Lisa sneered, like how Emily's a stay-at-home but the house still collects dust? Ethan stiffened. Eyes on his tablet. I whispered. Trying ain't cutting it, Margaret shot back. Then my fatal fumble, reaching for the gravy. Nerves fried. I toppled Margaret's wine glass. Crimson soaked the linen. Her skirt, chaos. You idiot, she shrieked, leaping up. Ruined. I dabbed frantically. Sorry, club soda'll fix it. But she raged, incompetent. Never good enough for my boy. John erupted. Look what you've done, embarrassed us again. I backed away, accident. He advanced. Always accidents. Useless. Grabbing my arm. He squeezed, pain lancing like fire. You're hurting me. Maybe that'll teach you. The room froze. Bruises surfaced. Undeniable. Then Ethan stood. I recorded it all. John's fear bloomed. Everything the grabs. Pushes. Broken glass cutting mom. Gasps echoed. Recordings played, my pleas. His threats. Truth exploded. John crumpled as Michael called it in. Assault, evidence clear. Margaret wept. I didn't know. Sarah tended my arm. Not the first. Lisa admitted. I suspected. Ethan held my hand. Learned in school. No one hurts family. Sirens wailed. John cuffed. Led away. This isn't over. Ethan stared. Yes. It is. That Christmas. Silence broke, paying the price for years of buried pain. But freeing us at last.